Welcome back, everybody. Another episode. I got the wiring kind of run down the way I want it. I got the toolbox in. I was going to put a coil in there, a dual fire aftermarket coil, like a Harley coil on there. Between that, this is where the air filter mounts, and where the battery box is with the regulator on the back, it won't fit. So I have to resort to plan B, which is to get another one of these type round coils. I mean, this one did have spark, but you know, 58 years old, so don't think I'm going to be using that one. This is the old type of regulator on the back of the battery box. This is a newer style, much improved over the old points type. Also a better battery box, as this one's all dented and cracked. So this is the one I painted up, and this is the one I'll be using. So I have a front brake cable that I got. Hopefully it'll work for W1S, which was the Japanese model, I think, with the bigger tire, and that the brake might have been on the opposite side on that too. Might have been on the left side instead of the right, but we'll see if it works, and hopefully I'll get some kind of brake, because the rear brake cable is wrong as well that came with it, and the original one that was on it is really cracked and bad. So I have one of those on order, which I believe is correct. All right, I have that pan under there. I'm trying to see if I have a drip. There was a couple of drops on the floor, so I have that under there, see if anything drips, and hopefully not. Hopefully, you know, it seals, or it's not a cracked cover or anything like that. But let's start with that brake cable. Okay, front brake cable's in. It looks a little short, as you can see up here, but hopefully when the bike's on the ground and the wheel comes up a little, it'll look a little better. It's not actually pulling on that. What I had to do though, this would not reach. I had to take these two arms off and move them back a little. So now it works. Got about that much travel on it, and I think we're okay with that. It's another sweltering day out here. My God, oh, why it's so hot. Okay, time to move on. Got the choke lever on, and that cable run back to where the carburetor is going to sit. Got to do something about mirrors. You know, this thing is getting kind of close. I rebuild that carburetor, put that on, get an ignition coil, you know, slap some exhaust on this thing, maybe, battery, and this thing might even fire off. I mean, let's hope so after all this. All right, let's see what's next. Welcome back, everybody. So today I think we're going to rebuild this carb. I have a carb kit from Keister. I could not find one for the single carb W1, so I reached out to them in Japan, and they actually made me one. So that was nice of them. Got a new float. Hope it's the right one, because the one for the twin carb is different, but they said this is for the single carb. All right, so let's get tearing this apart. Got a big can of gunk carb cleaner here, so we can dip everything in. And let's get that bowl off. So before we take the bowl off, in here, this is the throttle, and the choke is down here. And we need to remove this cap. There's going to be a big spring under here. Take that apart. Oh, still got some fluid in it. That's the choke. Oh, that doesn't smell good though. Get the slide and the needle out of here. Ooh, yeah, that's very varnishy. All right, let's get this bowl off. Hopefully there's not a lot in here. I'm kind of curious to see what this is going to look like. I mean, I did put some gas in it months ago when I tried to start it. Now I'm going to stink like gasoline the rest of the day. And so is the basement. I hope the wife doesn't come down here to do laundry or anything. It'll be the last time I ever do this. At least these are coming out. I should have waited till the last screw. There we go. Before I said that. So you know how that always goes. All right. Let's give this a couple of taps. Yeah, there's a lot of sediment in there. I'll have to drain that out. Oh, let's hope this pin slides out without damaging anything. Yeah, it's pretty gummy. If there is a jet in there, it looks like it would be pretty plugged. Alright, let me get a couple of tools. Alright. So this, I mean, that stuff just caked in there. I can't even scrape it out. Ugh. That stuff must have been sitting in there forever. Alright. I was hoping it was like muddy, but it's not. It's hard, so let's see. Let me get this pin to move. Looks like it only comes out one way. This is the smaller end. I do not want to break these towers. Oh, it did move. So let's see. Let's spray this a little bit. Let's see if we can move it back and forth. All right. Whew. Needle, get the seat out. I think this is our pilot jet. Of course, it gets right to the point where it's going to come out, but won't. I'll have to work on that. And let's get the main jet out of here. Looks like this whole thing's coming out. That's okay. The whole emulsion tube and the jet. You can take those apart separately. Nothing down in there. It's our mixture screw. I know everybody tells you run it in, count how many turns, then back it out. I mean, it's not going to be perfect when you put it back in anyway. We're going to have to adjust it. So I'll just take it out and then ooh, spring. Don't want to ruin that. There we go. But then I'll just start it at like 2 or whatever and go from there. Idle screw. This is just the inlet. I don't really know if there's anything under there except maybe a couple of washers, which I probably don't get in the kit. Or maybe I do. So we'll take that off too. There's like a bolt here. I don't know what that is. Oh, it's like just like a plug. Oh, you know what? I'll bet that was the tickler at one time. And it's not there anymore. Somebody just put a bolt in there. Okay, because I believe these had a tickler on them. Alright, I'll get this out. I still got to figure out how to get that to drop out. Probably all gummed up and doesn't want to slide out. I should have new ones of these in the set. I just like to get it out of curiosity. It's sticking down farther than it has. There we go. Yep, that's plug solid. Okay. You can see up through the hole though, so that's good. I think we take this off, and maybe that's it for disassembling. That's odd. I don't see any banjo washers on there, on either end of them. It's very interesting. Alright. Just got to remove that and we're all set. Okay, let's get this cleaning. All right, everything's in the can. lid on it, shake it around every now and then. We'll see how it's doing in maybe 20 minutes or so. Let's see what we got in this kit here. Looks like we got a variety of needles. Okay, we got a spring, which I believe goes on this, not on the emulsion tube. But we got an emulsion tube. That's the gasket for mounting it to the intake. A bowl gasket. I didn't know it was rubber. That's how bad the other one was. Needle and seat. No clips for these. Guess I'll have to be careful not to lose the clips. Or the clip. Oh no, there's clips in here. Alright, clips. Looks like we got those 2 washers we need. Mixture screw. Pilots and mains. And I believe this should tell you like which one's the original. What size is the original one that it came with? Which is good, because that's what you want to start with anyway, if there's no modifications on it. And it's written in English. And it gives you some troubleshooting on the back, you know, if it's high speed problem, mid speed problem, low speed problem, the color of your plugs, stuff like that. Okay, my wife had just come down here and thought I was painting because she smelled something. And you might hear the dryer in the background. So the floats, this one's a little, the floats are actually a little closer together. I'm just hoping it'll work. Of course, now the body's in there in the tank being cleaned, and that's right. The pin fits. These should be about in the right spot. You can kind of tell where this thing had been sitting in the gasoline. Looks like it might have been stuck to the bottom at one time. It's got some of that black tar stuff that was in the bottom of the bowl in there. But yeah, we'll try to set the float on this and make sure that's good. Still waiting on that carb. It's time to open this up. See what we got. I don't expect the bowl to be 100%. That may have to go again. I'm going to put everything in here because you really should rinse it with water. Alright, the pan is tipping. But I mean, the carb itself, the body's looking pretty good for, you know, being in there for only a little bit, 20 minutes or so. Alright, let me get everything out. Well, the bowl is in there for the 3rd time after taking it out, scraping some of the crud out of it, putting it back in there. It's a little bit of a slow process. Let's start putting this together. Let's get our needle and seat. take the spring off to get the socket on it. Or I just have to move it in the right spot. There we go. All right. Let's get our float in there and our pin. So we can adjust this. Okay. And how do we want to do this? We'll measure it from the base gasket here to the top here. And according to this, 30.1 to 32.1 millimeters. All right, zero this out. It's in millimeters. Let's go to 30.1. Okay, it's a little higher than that, so let's go to 32.1. 32.1. That is pretty darn close. It's just a little bit. It slides under there. That slides under there. I'd say that's pretty darn good. So we got our float height set. Let's see what we need for jets. This thing, it's like two different colors. Anyway, this is a 2.5. According to the book, it should be a 2.5 pilot jet. Pilot jet should be a number 50. And if you can't read these, a lot of times if you get your phone out, get your camera, and magnify things, so this is a 50. Okay. Then we have one emulsion tube. That's all we need, right? Well, emulsion tube, we can call it a pilot jet. I don't believe that there is an O-ring or anything for that on this model. Pretty sure that just goes in like that. And that's got to be tightened down. And then what is our main jet? Is a 440. Oh, where's our main jets? Those are that. These aren't them. Oh, there could be 6 main jets. We're looking for a 440. That looks like a 500. $430. $420. I'm going the wrong way. $440. All right, let me tighten up these. Well, the bowl, I keep taking it out and scraping it. Still needs some cleaning. So in the meantime, I'm gonna keep going on this. Just put in the idle adjustment screw, the air adjustment screw here. We'll just go to the bottoms out. Lightly. Right there. We'll back it out. 1, 2 for now. And we'll see how that does. Let's put that on the fuel inlet. Not sure which direction is the best for this right now. So I think we know why there was no gaskets on this. When you go to thread this in, when the gaskets are on, it just spins. Look how far these threads go in to there before they even catch anything. So the top threads are gone that were on here. So with the gaskets on, you can't tighten this, and of course without them, I'm pretty sure it's going to leak. So seeing as it'll probably be hard to find some thread insert, even if I do, who knows if it's going to leak or not. I think the other choice is maybe grinding down some of this, at least as thick as the washers, which isn't too bad, because without the washers it will work. I can tighten it. These aren't that thick. So yeah, I think if I flatten down, take off maybe 3 or 4 times this, I'll still be okay. When I pulled this out for the final time and flipped it over, because I was always looking at the other side, I noticed it had these like pit marks in it. So I don't believe they go all the way through, and I hope they don't. It's not leaking when there's the gunk fluid in it. And gasoline's a whole nother story. So we'll put it on and hope for the best. Put a new gasket on here. Hope this wasn't all for nothing. Guess we'll find out eventually, right? All right. Now, let's get this in there. Now, for a needle, let's see, what did we have for an original needle? Jet needle, 5L1-4. What do you think the chances are that these are marked the same? Yeah, now let's go to our sheet and find out what the stock one was on this. Standard would be Y5-S, which I think is this one. Y5-S. All right, and I'm going to put the clip. Well, every time I put the clip in the middle on all these carbs for all my bikes, I end up having to raise the needle. So should I just start with it? One down? Let's do that. Okay, there's that, and there's a plate that goes in there. Wow, that actually fell in place. All right, our opening is here. That means the slide's going to be on this side. All right. This is the choke slide, but I got to put a cable through that, which is not here, so I won't bother with that. So until I fix that, this screw, I think that's it for now. I could actually, you know, put it on the bike, but that should do it for now. All right. After some filing, grinding, whatever you want to call it, I was able to get this down enough to get the gaskets on there and the bolt in and tight. So I think we can install the carburetor now. Hey, no. Sorry, Mr. Groundhog, you can't come in here. Groundhog tried to get in here. All right, so here's our cap. This is our choke. That goes on there. It's going to slide up and down. I got to get the cable in and hook it up to there. Make sure I grab the right one. There we go. I believe this spring has to go in this tube. And then, then we can put that through there. Okay. This one just has the spring on this side. And this has to go into, let's get this in here first. It's going to run in there. Every time I turn this, I drop this needle holder out. There have been such better designs since this. All right, I need a spring. Goes in there. And over here. I can put that inside the carburetor. Hold on a second. This goes in here first. All right, now I think we got it. This is going to go in this way. Making sure our needle goes in correctly. All right. I should be able to tighten this cap now. Should being the key word. All right. So I turn the throttle. That should do that. When I move the choke, and if you can see it, it lifts the choke inside there. That might need to be adjusted a little bit. All right. Got our O-ring on there. This does not have lock washers. It's just flat washers and nuts originally. And there's really not enough stem or stud coming out to put lock washers on there. They did have flat washers, however. So this primer is going to have to come back off. It's got a little bit of a leak, like maybe every half hour or hour or so it lets out a drop. I saw it once and I cleaned everything off and I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe it was left over from something. But yeah, I put that pan under it and then I came back later and there was a mark on it where it had dripped. So that's coming back off. I have to reseal that. I don't know if I'm going to have good luck with that gasket or not. I'll take a look at it when we get it off. Another day for me. Got a new coil, chrome, which I really didn't care for because, you know, it gets dirty and you'll never see it anyway. Okay, it's gonna be tight. Probably have to loosen these. I test fit this toolbox in there with this coil so I could get it at the right height, the right angle and all that, and I think we're good here. I just have to tighten these screws up. It fits on the bracket, although the bracket's going to be a little wider, but that'll be okay. Now I have to make some leads to go onto here. That'll go into our harness and onto the points. So I got some ring terminals made for number 10 screws. I'm going to take the blue off, crimp some wire on there, and then solder it on and heat shrink. Okay, made 2 wires, blue and red. Red being positive and blue being negative, which goes to the coil. I put bullet connectors on, soldered them on too. So I guess I got to put some plug wires in here. Yeah, I'll do that after I slide it in, I think, because it may be hard to get it in to position with those on there. Okay, ignition coil's in. Gives me enough room to get the wires out. In here goes the battery box and the regulator. I got to put that in. The flasher will clip up into here, and the wires are down there for the regulator. So put that in. The horn has showed up as well. Okay, time to take the tool tray back out again. With the air cleaner on, you're not going to have room for the wires for this coil, so this coil's got to go down lower, which is going to be tough because the fender is right there. But we got to get it down as low as we can, otherwise these wires are going to run right into the air filter. Got the battery box in. I changed the wire routing again, ran it over the top through here, ran the coil wire through here. Everything in here is wired up. I know it looks kind of messy. There's the voltage regulator down there, the flasher, the coil. There's not much room once you get everything in. I put an inline fuse here. This is the cheapest thing I've ever seen. I'm going to have to replace it. I mean, it's garbage. I want to hook up ground, make sure all my electrical still works. There's no shorts. And then I can start making the plug wires. The spark plug wires, they're on the coil, run up front. Copper core wires and 0 ohm caps. I put the strap on the battery, even though I don't know if this battery's got enough juice in it anyway. So it looks like I've got the ignition done. I've got the carburetor done. I've pretty much got the engine done. Waiting on a gasket now for this, or that would be done. A replacement gasket. I didn't see anything wrong with it. It was leaking right down here. The cover looks good as well. The only thing is that there's this gap because that's where the oil drains from when you take that bolt out. But still, there's nothing really wrong with the cover. So, what is left on this bike? Well, I still got to finish the rear brake, waiting for the rear brake cable. Footrests. I don't have footrests for this, but I think I have a good set on the 68. So I'll take a look at that. Air filter. I've got to run a hose from the oil tank here, a breather from the the cover over there. Still got to swap that horn out. Some mirrors, seat. I got to do the tank. But yeah, this thing is getting close. Getting excited. We'll see what happens on the next episode. Maybe I can get it to the point where it's going to start. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.